this, I never look at something and say, oh my gosh, this is so important. It's more of a situation of the story. Now with Miami Vice, I will say this very clearly, I never have done anything for Miami Vice because I really didn't think that it was exploitive, it was manipulative, it was gratuitous, and it romanticized the characters. All of those aesthetics are not in my vocabulary. I don't use any of that stuff. The reason that I did Miami Vice was because, literally, they gave me a non-exclusive contract and total creative control of my character. This was a non-exclusive contract on a running television series on network television. Unheard of in the history of television. No one can get a non-exclusive contract in television. You just don't get it. They won't let you. And so they hire you, they sign you, and they sign you for 7 years, even though they might only use you for 1 or 3 or 5. It's at their discretion. And I turned around and said I couldn't do it, and it was a long story. And I've told the story before, and some people know it already. But that was the reason I did it, and I had creative control of my character, or else the character would not have turned out that way. There's no way that somebody could have written. It's like the character in Blade Runner. No one could have created that character. That was totally a work of art that I had created for myself. And I had taken a lot of pride in what I do with my life and how I do it. But when I choose something, I choose it because of the story. And so, Battlestar, what a story. Just the miniseries alone, reading that script was a revelation because it was brilliantly written. And it really did describe character in the fullest sense. And everybody was defined, so it was a wonderful, wonderful experience just reading it. So I got on board, and I really didn't want to do Battlestar Galactica. I mean, that was not what I was, I worked all my life to go towards in my career. It just wasn't supposed to be that way. Just like Miami Vice wasn't supposed to be. And yet both of them ended up being a very strong centerpiece for my career in television. There's only one other program that I've done, which was American Family. That was the only 3 programs I've ever done with committed myself to doing on television. The other ones I've done, 2 episodes of this, 1 episode of that. Basically, so Battlestar, the reason I took it was the story. The reason I take any of my work is because of the story. Now, not because of whether I'm the lead or the North Stop or anywhere in between. It doesn't really matter. What matters to me is what are we doing with what's the story about? And then, is it a story worth telling? This was a tremendous story worth telling. And that's how I got involved with it, and that's why I thought it was very important to do. You could not tell where it was going. No one knew where it was going. Now, Ron will tell you, well, I knew where we were going. But you could tell that it was really heartfelt, and that everything he wrote was so personal that he couldn't have known it until he had to do it. It's like when you really have a real strong understanding of something, it comes because you're put to the test. And at that precise moment, you have to speak it, or you have to write it, or you have to draw it, you have to do something. And it's demanded of you, and you put there, and this is it. You've been preparing for this, let it go. And so you do it, and that's what 33 was riveting. It's still, for me, the best single episode we ever did, bar none. 33 was just like devastating to us, because it really did set the tone for the duration of our understanding. It did not flinch 1 inch from the reality of what it would be like had we all been thrown into the story in this manner. It was so real that people were stunned. I mean, we were stunned when we had to do it. And when we watched it, before you guys watched it, we got to see it, it was like, oh my God, this is really, we did it. This is, I mean, it was felt like it was a documentary. And it hurt you with the same kind of fierceness. And then, of course, he immediately went to water. The next one was about the water. And then it was all really precise understandings of the day-to-day understanding of what we're going through. And that's what makes the plan dangerous. Because you're going to see the exact same kind of kinetic energy given to the storytelling. And Jane Esperson wrote it, and she, along with everybody had their input. All the writers had their input on this final plan. And Ron, of course, tweaked it at the very end, but it was incredible. So I got to say to you, for the question, do we look at stuff? Probably we do, but I think one of the things is looking for a good story, and then we go from there. We move forward, and if it turns into something that's really relevant, my God, we're lucky, you know. But basically, that's how I think of it.
So I put that in, because that's great. Sometimes I wish we had 2 hours to just talk. It's been a luxury that, you know, they just get them talking about the creation of Blade Runner, the character, not, or even take even more time to talk about the creation of the character in Miami Vice. It's just.
I have a question. You guys are